There's a section that I'll add there that I don't know if you guys know about.
Which one?
We'll get there.
It's
let it be organic.
it's my dad was Prince's teacher.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
See, there we go.
So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll work that because we'll. I mean, that's actually pretty interesting. I love this city. Seriously, I love this city because it's all like 6 degrees of Prince, right? Like, dude, there's all these like interwoven connections and what have you.
That's shoot. You'd be hard pressed to get over 2 degrees.
Seriously, in this city.
Yeah, in this city.
It's the truth right there. Paisley Nights, and we are chronicling the days of wild. I am Mark Bondi here with my co-host
DJ Dudley D,
and we are telling the story of the people of Paisley Park. Back in the day, Prince would open up the doors of Paisley Park to all kinds of different folks, just average fans, average people, weirdos, yeah, always weirdos, the freaks. And Prince would open up the doors of Paisley Park, and he did it again and again and again for decades. And we got people that were kind of part of that scene. We ain't talking to the people that went there once. We're not talking about the people who went there twice, 3 times. You know, we're talking about the people that went there hundreds of times, saw Prince perform, saw the parties, got close to him kind of in a different way than many of the masses that are out there. So we're telling those stories. We're getting them on wax. Want to share them with the people. Want to share them with history. It's pretty fun times. How you doing tonight, Dustin?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I am pumped up because we got like. This is like the guest.
We've been talking about it for months.
Yeah, so we've been talking about it for months. And really, just so you know, just so you all know, before we recorded an episode, like this was like the interview we wanted to do. This was it.
That's a lot to live up to.
It is a lot to live up to, but this man was like a legend. And he would be there, kind of standing tall above the crowd back in '95. And I was like, who is this man? He's rocking his Stanford shirt, doing his thing, and dude, it goes way back. So we got Jonathan Carter here.
Yes,
Jonathan, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this. And much respect to you guys for doing this. I appreciate you guys recording all this, putting it out in history, and because these stories aren't told. So
yeah, no one's telling these stories. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, the obvious things is to go to the entertainers, the people that were in the business and so forth. That they're the famous people that people know or whatever. But there's a whole scene of underground for people, obviously in Minneapolis and Chicago, Detroit, Europe, that were connected. So
yeah, it's interesting, these kind of various subcultures of Prince fans, because you get to know these people over the years.
Yeah.
And they kind of emerge, and you're like, oh, man, I didn't know this group existed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's wild. So tell us, just like before we get kind of into the deep Prince stuff, tell us
because it's going to get deep.
It's going to get real deep. Tell us, who is Jonathan Carter? Tell us about yourself.
So Jonathan Carter, from Minneapolis, grew up here, actually went out to Bloomington, Jefferson, and then my family is here. And then the interesting part is that I went off to college, and obviously you guys know about Stanford. Before that, I went to Washington University, St. Louis.
Okay.
Came back, and then went out to Stanford for a while, and that'll connect to the stories that we have here. And so now back here, have a family here, working in information technology, and doing my thing.
Nice. Interesting. Did you grow up all your years in Bloomington? Were you always living in Bloomington?
In Minneapolis till I was about 5.
Okay.
And then Bloomington the rest of the time.
Interesting. Yeah, I forgot that you were from Jefferson. So then you went to Washington University.
Yep.
And then did you get your undergrad from there, or did you transfer to Stanford?
I got my undergrad from Washington University, and then did the graduate school out at Stanford.
Okay, so that was the connection. So do you remember your earliest Prince times? I mean, you're growing up in the city. When was the first time you heard about Prince?
Well, so my first introduction was kind of through my parents, ironically, and we had vinyls, and at that time we had vinyl records, and I remember there was controversy in 1999 and stuff, and I listened to that kind of stuff. But my dad was actually Prince's math teacher at Minneapolis Central.
Really?
And so,
what grade?
I don't know what grade,
Okay.
but my dad taught geometry. It could have been 10th or something
somewhere
like
in
that,
there.
But yeah, and so both my mom was also at Minneapolis Central, so she knew him and things like that, and so that's how I introduced through my parents, and then got to know him and things like that. So some good times.
Do you know, was Prince good at math?
Does
your dad say it,
Yeah.
My dad said he was
One
an
plus
excellent,
one plus one.
he was an excellent student. He was actually very smart.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
smart and very quiet.
Yeah.
Always in the corner with the guitar, practicing and things like that, but really smart. So yeah.
So your dad said he's bringing the guitar to class?
I don't think it was in class, but outside of class.
But just outside of class, he was just like,
You saw him.
when you saw him walking the halls, like the dude was just rolling with the guitar.
Yeah. So an interesting thing, though, so Minneapolis Central, right, and this was, I'm guessing, the late 70s, maybe early, I think it was late 70s. So my mom also was at Minneapolis Central, and she was talking about a story where the bell had just rung, and people had dismissed to their classes or whatever, and she was in the hall, and she saw this young man out in the hall. She's like, you need to get to class. And he just looked down. And she's like, you hear me? You need to get to class. And she looked, and she's like, are you Prince? And it turned out that it was Prince, but it was like a couple years after he had graduated,
Really?
right? And he was at the school, but so he was walking the halls, and she's like, you know what, Prince? And this is what she told me. She's like, I saw you the other night on the Midnight Special with Wolfman Jack.
Yeah.
You remember that show, Wolfman Jack, the Midnight Special? Yep. If you don't, look it up, Google it, right? So I saw you on the Midnight Special. Don't ever wear leotards on a show like that again. So she was reprimanding him, right?
Yeah.
And so he just kind of, shook his head, or he's really quiet. And then the word got out in the school that, Prince is back in the school and so forth.
Right.
And so people started crowding. And so then, the staff started ushering him off to another classroom off the side. And then they made an announcement over the speaker that said, well, Prince, he's gone, so return back to your class, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they were just hiding him, right? So
they're hiding Prince, and folks are like, because at this point, like, is he famous?
So this must have been,
he's
the late 70s. So he's dropping some records and stuff like that.
He's moving up.
He's ascending.
Yeah.
It's pre 1999 and things like that. So, but
was there a reason why he was there?
I don't know why it was there.
Oh, okay.
So, but get this. So the next day, my mom goes into school, and she goes to her office in her mailbox, and in her mailbox there is a picture of Prince, and he signed it. He said Violet, and my mom's name's Violet. He goes, I promise never to wear leotards on the Midnight Special again. Prince.
That is. And did he?
He never did. Now he didn't comment out at all about ass out jeans. But
yeah. That is fantastic.
And she has that still?
She still has it.
Course.
Matter of fact, she was going to give it to me, but then she's like, I'm going to keep this for myself. But eventually she might.
That is a crazy story. What did she teach?
She taught English, and then she eventually moved into administration. So she was an assistant principal and things like that.
So he knew who she was, though. And she knew him, obviously. Well, so I mean, and I think his name was kind of ringing out at that point, right? So he's a known entity doing his thing. So did you learned about him through your parents? What was their kind of take on him when you're growing up? Because you got to be. You're young at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm not even 10 or whatever, and the thing that I find is, looking back on it, is that how big of a fan probably my dad was, and he didn't necessarily show it.
Really?
I mean, it was like he was really into like Otis Redding and Sam Cooke and all those kind of things. That was kind of his generation.
Yep.
But he really was a big fan of Prince because, he took us to the Purple Rain concert. I heard you guys talk about that at the Met Center.
Yep.
And it was a Christmas show. I don't remember if it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but I remember because Prince gave, on that concert, he gave a Christmas present. It was this cool graphical image of rainbow or a thing like that, and it was an awesome show out at Met Center.
So are you only child? You got brothers and sisters?
Brother and sister. I'm the youngest one.
You're the youngest one?
Yeah.
So are they rolling to the Purple Rain show with you? Is it like the whole Carter clan jumping in?
That was our Christmas present. We went
Nice.
out to the Met Center.
So your dad recognized early. He was like, "This dude's he's bad.
Yeah.
He's dope."
Now,
As a matter of fact, so there's one time, and this was after Purple Rain and after Around the World in a Day, and Prince had the Purple House, and my dad took us out to Chanhassen to see his Purple House or whatever. And so we roll up there, and we up at the security guard gate, and my dad goes, "Yeah, Prince was my student," and the guard looked at us like, "Yeah, and?" And so we just, saw out there, and we, turned around and
rolled out, rolled back. But you got to see the house, and, the guard, I guess, was doing his job.
Yeah.
So do you, I mean, you're going to Purple Rain, you got the music going on, your parents obviously like them, your dad's into them, which is really interesting. Now, I mean, do you get into them? Do you have this, like, deep affinity right away where you're like, dude, I just need some more Prince music? Or does that come...
It was kind of building. I was a little bit into 1999, not kind of the traditional tracks, the 1999 Little Red Corvette, but more so Free and DMSR.
Yeah.
And Let's Pretend We're Married.
Yeah.
Those were kind of my jams back then. I'd play those quite a bit.
And then it's just on at your house. It's just playing, so you're just listening to it.
Yeah. We had the old school, huge console with the record player and in between, the TV down below and stuff like that. So we had the vinyls playing and stuff like that. And so I kind of got into it then. And then Purple Rain happened. And so
what happened with Purple Rain? I mean, obviously you saw the show, but what did Purple Rain bring you to the next level?
Well, that's where I got to see his showmanship. He really had. He did a really nice performance. I really got into the Revolution. It was really cool.
So when you saw him for the first time, what was that like?
Like I say, just the fact that he was, of course the music was good, but just the show was good. There's a big show put on about it, and he got, at that time it was Wendy and Mark and so forth into it, and Doc and Sheila E. was there for that tour and stuff, and it was really cool performance back then.
Where were your seats for that first show?
We were nosebleeds.
They're taking the whole family. They're taking the whole family. They got 5 of them rolling. So
yeah.
It gets expensive, man.
I think that was the last time I was in nosebleeds for a Prince show.
Really? So that's your first show, and I mean, you end up seeing him live. How many times do you think, Jonathan?
In excess of 100 times, I'm sure.
Oh, I mean, dude, you got you are
that number's low for sure.
That number, there's no doubt that number is low, because I mean, there's no 100 times. Come on, Jonathan.
I would personally estimate that you're over 200.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way Jonathan didn't see more than I think he's more on the
and
Bill
some of
Winslow
those were
level.
dance parties versus concerts and things
yeah.
So, if you count all that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
you're just being humble.
Yeah.
So you're out there, you're listening to Purple Rain, you're into the music, and you kind of keep on Around the World in a Day, you're doing that whole thing. I mean, you're buying the albums when they come out, or your parents getting them?
I started buying at basically at Purple Rain. I started buying albums, and then Around the World in a Day and so forth. But get this, so Sign of the Times hits, right? And I skipped over Parade or whatever, but Sign of the Times hits. And so my sister, I have an older sister, she goes out to Minneapolis to go to an audition, right? And it turns out the audition was for the recording, the filmmaking of Sign of the Times out at Paisley Park. And so she gets the role after her audition, and so she goes out there a couple nights, and for each night, they got paid $50.
Really? So they were getting paid to go out to Paisley Park.
Get that, right?
Yeah.
Getting paid.
Yeah. He was new to the Paisley Park deal. He didn't realize he could get those people in get those people to come in for free. He figures that out later.
Yeah. And so anyway, so that's the first 2 nights. And the first 2 nights, the cameras were turned on Prince, and it's just all showing the Prince or whatever. So the last night, I finally get hip to it, and so it's me, my brother, my cousin, and then my sister. We all get signed up and we go out there.
Yeah, so this is your first time to Paisley Park.
It's the first time to Paisley Park.
And really, the building's like literally just opened up, right?
Yeah, so it might have been a year after, but it was like August, I want to say 87 or something like that.
Yeah, if it's August.
Something like that.
Yeah, because it opens on September 11th. I think 87. So
okay, so it would have been
like I think it's right there because
and
then the movie gets released in December.
Yeah.
I mean, does it have like a new building smell to it?
Honestly, at that time it was just a big white building, and I mean most of the day, we were just outside and out in the lawn, and every once in a while the band would come out and stuff, and we were just outside most of the day.
So this wasn't at night, this was during the day?
It was all day. And so matter of fact,
like when you say all day, what do you mean?
I mean, we got there at like 10 o'clock. We weren't 10 o'clock in the morning. We weren't done till 1 o'clock in the morning.
You got to earn that $50.
So no, we got time and a half. He actually gave us $75.
$75, nice.
Right, and so
does he write it? Does he write a check to you then, or like
it was
production company?
It was a check, and it was a beautiful check. And for a moment, I was thinking, do I really want to cash this?
Right,
because this is a nice looking check, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this.
Yeah, you're gonna get that $75. That's a lot of money back then.
Yeah,
when I got a check from Prince, I made a photocopy in color of that thing. I got it at my house still.
Yeah. So the band's kind of coming out, and they're feeding us McDonald's. I remember they got some McDonald's. They might have got us pizza at the time because we're basically outside the majority of the day. It wasn't until almost 6, 7 at night that we finally went in.
Now, and you're just like talking amongst yourselves?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they're not giving you any, like, hey, this is going to be another 6 hours that you're going to have to wait here?
They might have. I mean, but
you're just hanging out.
How many people were there?
Hundreds of people.
Just milling about Paisley Park, just waiting for something to happen. This is so interesting.
And so I remember there was one time where Wally was one of his people at the time, right, in Sign of the Times things, and so he came out and he was talking to the audience and so forth, and so my brother asked him, so why don't you guys play Shockadelica? We want to hear Shockadelica. And Wally goes, we can't play that. He's like, the only person who knows how to play that is Prince. So the band didn't know how to play,
the song.
The song, because Prince, obviously does all the parts on a lot of different songs or whatever. So
it's interesting.
They weren't rehearsed on that one.
So you get in the building, and the first time. So tell me the first time you step foot into Paisley Park. What's it like?
So the first time we stepped foot into Paisley Park, the lights are on. We're in the big sound stage or whatever. At that time, it's just a big warehouse, although they had the stage set up for the Sign of the Times kind of set. And, the band is just jamming. So you're walking in and you feel like you all of a sudden got funky as soon as you got in the door. Because, the band's
moving right now, people. He's moving.
Yeah. The band's jamming, so it was great. And so then all hundreds of people get in there, and so we were supposed to act like we were in the Europe show where basically there were lines of people were in our seats or whatever. So they had us line up like we were in seats or whatever.
Gotcha.
And then there was a director there, and Prince and the band were just kind of doing their thing, rehearsing and things like that. And there was a director there, happened to be a white guy. And he was just, placing people. And so people kept moving. And so finally he finished placing people. And, me, my brother, my sister, my cousin, we're all black, and we look around and we notice all the black folks are in the back. and so then there's another guy.
They're trying to play this Europe thing, right?
Yeah, well, and so then another black guy just like, hey, Prince, what's up? Come, as if it's Prince's fault. And it's the director guy that's moving Prince, what's up? Come on, man. And so anyway, so the band plays a song, right? And so they're playing their jam. They're playing. I don't remember what song they play. And so then they finish playing the song. And so then the director goes, all right, everybody in the front row, go in back. And everybody else, move forward one. And we're like, all right. So we're getting closer. And so they play another song, jam. And then they get done. He goes again, everybody in front, go in back, and then move up. And so they jam. And so finally, we're getting up front, right? And we're like, oh, shoot. He about to tell us to go back.
Yeah.
Right? And so then, I think he did it one more time. Then we're right up front by the time, that song. And so they're jamming. And then he didn't move anymore. So then we basically are right up front for the whole rest of the show.
Nice. Now had the album, does the album drop beforehand? Before the movie? Like, did you know the music that he was playing? Were you familiar with the songs that were being played?
Yes, because I had to think about that, but there was Housequake, and he actually taught us to dance to that. So we were dancing to that, and I remember Forever in My Life. That was one of my jams right then.
So you're telling me, you were at the filming of Sign of the Times and the whole Forever in My Life deal.
Oh yeah.
And were you front row?
Oh yeah. The whole drumming.
I just had to stand up because that is quintessential Prince right there.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like that video, that music, where he's got it kind of flowing in it, and he's just like, oh. Yeah. I mean, that is like, and you were there.
Yeah. And so basically
front row.
We got paid to see a concert.
Oh man! Like, did you
and be in the concert film?
Did you know? Did you know the magnitude of what you were participating in? Did you understand like that this thing was gonna go to theaters and go global, and Dustin was gonna have it on his DVD? Here and watching it at 4 a.m. Did we tell that story on the podcast?
Yeah.
Podcast? Yeah. Sometimes I forget what we say on air and what we don't.
There's even back then, there's so much stuff that Prince records that you don't know if it ever sees the light of day.
Yeah.
And so we're like in that kind of limbo. Well, if it does, great. If it doesn't, great. Regardless, we get to see a great show, and
Yep.
Yeah, here we are, and we get $75.
Yeah.
Now, your sister was there a couple of nights before.
Yeah.
Did she see anything that was different, or obviously she had to have seen something that was different.
So when she was there, the first 2 nights, the cameras were just turned on the band.
Really?
And so they were just filming the band. They didn't film the audience at all. It was just kind of, I guess, the background noise or whatever. But on the 3rd night, that's when the cameras were turned around.
Yeah.
And so you can actually see me in a couple of the videos for Sign of the Times.
What was that like then when that did get released and you saw yourself? Were you watching with your sister, or were you by yourself?
Because now Jonathan's worldwide.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, I had to hunt through the movie because I didn't know exactly when I'd be in the movie. But it turns out, during Housequake, you can see me. During I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man, you can see me. For sure those 2 times. I don't know, maybe something else, but
I'm sure a couple of people just paused this and then went to the
yeah just go check it out, because it's crazy. Because I remember watching it. It had to have been 95 when I bought the video on maybe it was 96, but I'm sitting there and like I knew who you were, and I'm just like watching the movie, and then like I was just watching the movie, because I was like getting into Prince, and I was just watching the movie, and all of a sudden I was like, that's Jonathan Carter. No, this is a true story. I was like, that's Jonathan Carter. And then I had to like stop the movie, rewind, and I had you on, like back in the day when it was VHS, you hit the pause button, the freeze frame, and you're like,
kind of moving a little bit.
Yeah, I had Jonathan Carter paused on my TV. I was like, this is the most insane thing ever.
Yeah.
And then I think I had to talk to you about it because I was like, damn, Jonathan Carter was in Sign of the Times.
Yeah.
I was seriously blown away by that deal. So did you see the release of the movie in like the big screen on? Because I mean, it was a relatively limited release, right?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it in the theaters. I did eventually get the VHS of it, and so I saw it there. But yeah, and I've seen it multiple times. And then when I see people talk about it, I was like, "Hey, freeze it right at 5:30."
You got the numbers now because
Tell the people when to freeze it, John.
Yeah. Well,
we should have written that down. We should have written down what portion of the concert to just pause it, because I think what they said is like, I mean, 85-90% of that was filmed at Paisley Park.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and
the
then
majority.
there's some shots that are actually out in Europe or whatever.
Yeah, but most of it is done there. Yeah. And I mean, the stage is the whole setup and the whole deal, and wow, I mean, it's just amazing.
And Kat and Sheila were looking great. That was good.
What a good day. So so you spend most of the day hanging outside, going, "Hey, what the heck's gonna happen?" Mm-hmm. And then you spend the rest of the day moving. Was it getting done kind of in one continuous loop, or were they like pausing between songs? Were they stopping or?
It's typical movie where they'd jam at a song and then there'd be downtime, and then they'd kind of reset, and they might replay a song a couple times.
Okay,
right.
But would it be as good the second time? Where you're like, oh yeah, we can do this song again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hold on, take that again. My dance. I got to dance better.
Yeah. No, it was great. I mean, we were there for hours, filming.
So did you go in and then they're like, okay, you can go out?
No. Once you were in,
you were staying in.
Then you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, this is just like an amazing story. Yeah. So you do Sign of the Times. You get to see yourself in the movie. When's the next time you're out there? How long was the time in between Sign of the Times and your next adventure?
So it turns out I probably wouldn't have gone out to Paisley again until probably, I want to say 95. That summer.
Okay, so there was a long span, because were you part of like the Glam Slam days? Were you doing Glam Slam? Were you going out to see him there?
I did do Glam Slam, although it was also overlapped with a time where I was at Washington University St. Louis.
Okay,
and so, but I did go back for one of the shows there, and it must have been June of '94, where he had
at Glam Slam.
Was
that the birthday show? Because he did the June of 94.
It wouldn't have been June 7th. It was probably like June 25th, something like that. So
okay.
Did you ever see him when you were at school? Did you ever tour? And
no.
Okay.
Not at WashU anyway.
Okay. So I mean, you're really now. Did you see him live between kind of the Sign of the Times deal at Paisley and that 95 deal? Did you see him?
Well, just 94, but I don't
no other big stadium shows. Did you do any of the other big stadium shows kind of pre? So what other shows did you see kind of pre that era before we get into the 95 stuff?
I saw Love Sexy.
Okay.
I was really impressed with that.
Did you go with your parents again, or?
No. This is probably just me and my sister or something like that.
Now, are your sisters into Prince too, like you are?
Yeah, the sister and brother, both into Prince. Although they obviously didn't hit Paisley as hard as I did.
But they liked him.
Yeah.
Now, would they go to Paisley later on, or?
Yeah,
sometimes, but not like.
Yeah, no.
How about your dad?
They weren't on the regular, because I don't. Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Meeting them, but that doesn't.
How about your dad? Did your dad ever go out there with you?
Yeah, great question.
No.
Okay.
Not that I know. He never went there. So.
You never brought him. You never like, Dad, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, they knew you were going, right?
Well, that's funny. So
why is that funny, Jonathan?
so during the summer of '95, right? He was hitting it hard, like. Was it started July for sure? August, September.
Yeah. That's when Dustin and I are getting into it.
Every weekend for 10 weekends in a row.
It was 10.
There were 10. I know it for sure.
You know it for sure. That's good, because I
10 weekends in a row, there was something. And it might have been once a weekend, twice a weekend. Sometimes it's Saturday, sometimes it's Friday, sometimes Friday, Saturday. Sometimes he had a Wednesday show.
Yeah, I remember some of them Wednesday shows.
And so it could be as much as 3 times a week or whatever. But for sure, 10 weeks in a row, he had something out at Paisley.
Yeah.
Well, and so I was up here for the summer, but then I had to go back to grad school.
And you just like were you sad at that point? Because like, I mean, this is like fun times. This is like.
Yeah, well, so I flew back to grad school at the end of September when these are going on, and then it was, it wasn't necessarily every week or
a little more sporadic.
A little more sporadic.
And grad school is at Stanford?
At Stanford.
Okay.
Yep.
But then, I still would get the 911 text, and
when you say text, you mean
well, the pager.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just so we're clear.
Yeah. Back in the day, we didn't have no cell phones, right?
So the pager would blow up 911, 911, 911, and Dion's the one hitting you up.
Sometimes it's Dion, sometimes it's Tia. Usually between those two.
Yeah. So Dion, episode 4. Yeah. Check it out. Yeah. So there's all these little connections that begin to emerge. Did you know Dion before this, or did you meet her as part of the Paisley?
I met her in line at Paisley Park.
That's how we met her.
That's how we met her too. Yeah. So did y'all become? Did y'all? I mean, you obviously exchanged numbers, because how did you find out about those first Paisley shows?
I don't know how I found out about the first one. I have no idea. I don't remember, or even the first few.
Right.
But then eventually, obviously there's that
network,
xenon.stanford.edu/tilde/JLC1/MPLS music where I'd post.
Yeah. Let's just slow this down. What was the Stanford website? And this is 95, right? Yeah. So this is like I think I hit my first interweb browser, Netscape, in like the spring of 95.
Yeah.
And then by the fall of 95, you have a Stanford website that is directing people to Paisley Park parties, and you would have it out there and it would say party at Paisley, or no party at Paisley, or party at Paisley, et
And
cetera.
you weren't even in town?
You weren't even
for some of this.
So catch this. So once the fall hit, if it were possible, I knew it was a 2.5-3 hour flight from California. I'd fly in.
Now, how much money are you making, Jonathan?
Well,
he's got that $75.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's not cheap to fly last minute too.
It isn't, but it's probably a couple hundred. But Stanford was a fellowship, so that was a full ride. So I didn't have to worry about my tuition or books or anything like that.
Because Jonathan Carter is smart.
Well, and so then it was just the price of the ticket, and then Dion would pick me up from the airport or something. I wouldn't even tell my parents I was in town. I was in town for the show. And then I get back out.
I had no idea. Why didn't you tell them? Because you didn't want them being like, "Hey, that's crazy to fly out for a show."
Yeah.
No, I understand that, because sometimes parents don't understand that you need to hit the Prince show and damn the torpedoes, right?
Yeah. So if it were possible, I'd be on that red eye. Well, it wasn't a red eye out, but it was a red eye back. Usually.
So you would just do that all in one shot. Because I remember you'd have the Stanford sweatshirt, and I was like, and then I was checking the Stanford website, and I was like, dude, how in the world is this man at the show but going to school in Stanford? And then I had to figure out where Stanford actually was on the map, and I had no idea what was happening.
So you're an IT guy, so that's was that your website, or how did that?
No. So every student gets a space in. At least every computer science student. I was a computer science student, gets a space out there, and so I created my own website, mpls.music, that mostly people went there for to find out when the show was coming up. But sometimes I'd post things like the bands that were going on at that time. Dr. Mambo's combo, not just a combo, and
Bunkers.
TC Jammers
Thursday night, Bunkers,
and that whole scene, and then Greasy Mill out at the Caboose and that kind of stuff.
We did a lot. We did a lot of Sundays.
Easy being greasy, man. It ain't
Mark
easy
and I did a lot of Sundays on Greasy Meal.
Shout out to Julia's Greasy Meal.
And and the Rolling Rock special.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah. Those were $2 Rolling Rocks, $2 on Sunday night.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
those were
caboose.
that was that had to have been 96, 97 though.
Yeah, and so
A little later.
I took it upon myself to try and find out about. So what would Prince fans want to know about in terms of the music scene that's happening outside of Paisley?
Yeah.
And then post about that so that they, and then eventually I had people, bands reaching out to me say, "Hey, can you put us up on the site?"
Yeah, hook it up.
It's like,
Could you
Sure.
could you tell, like, could you see if people coming, the traffic? Like, could you?
At that time I didn't even
No
pay attention
metrics.
to it.
Okay.
Although eventually I also had an email list, and there had to have been a couple hundred people on the email list. That,
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Like-
interesting. So let's just pause for 1 second on this website, right? Because this is actually crazy. It ties back to me. What was the URL again?
I believe it was xenon.stanford.edu/tilde/JLC1/MPLS-music.
I gotta tell y'all something out
Maybe
there.
.html.
all
but maybe not.
out in the world, I had that URL memorized. No, I'm not even lying. I had that URL memorized, and I would go on Andy Hansel's computer because, I didn't have my own computer that could connect to the interweb, right? Because this was '95.
This is you were in the fraternity.
Yeah, I was in a fraternity, and I would go to that URL, and I remember a night. It was like a Friday or a Saturday night. I'd be like, "Hey, Andy, could I use your could I use your computer?" And I would type in the URL, and the thing didn't save at the time. I don't know, but I would type it in, and it'd be like nothing's happening. And then I would be like 30 minutes later because I was fiending for something to happen. I would type it in, nothing's happening. I remember an evening where I must have gone in there 6 or 7 times, right? And then on the obviously the last time, I pushed the button and it was party at Paisley. And I was like, oh. And then I hit Dudley up on the 911 text. He wasn't even Dudley D then. He was just Dustin. But I was like, Dudley.
Let's go.
And whether it was, Brother Jules or Dion or Tia or whatever, I felt it my duty I got to get the word out. So wherever I was, I'm like, okay, I got to get the computer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That is just amazing.
Yeah, it's a real interesting story because I'm serious. I had that URL memorized. I was always looking. I remember. There was one night he played. It had to have been a Tuesday, and I believe you were there because it was and I think I got it from your website. Maybe I got it by calling. And he comes out to Sometimes It Snows in April. Y'all remember that show? There was a big white screen in the middle of the stage, and it was the normal stage, kind of that era. And there was a white screen, and he comes out to Sometimes, and then
I do remember that.
Then they move. Were you at that show?
I don't know. There's so many shows.
Yeah, they all blend together.
Yeah. So, and you were also writing reviews at the time, right?
Yeah. So, and I remember, so I had my paper and pen out, and so I try and write down the set list because I knew I had to have it for the review because there's tons of people, whether they got to Minneapolis or not, they'd read the reviews and they want to know the set list of what happened, that kind of thing. So eventually, I think there was one of the security guards either came up to me directly or was asking Dion, they're like, what is he writing? And he's like, oh, he's writing the set list for his reviews. Oh, okay. So, they're a little paranoid. They're like, oh, okay, we got it.
Do you think, did Prince know about this website? He's a computer guy at that time. He's totally into it.
You got to get free so you can download your music to your fans' computers.
I'm guessing he knew that I was one getting the word out. I don't know if he knew about the website or not, or about the email distribution, but he knew to basically go through Jules to go through me to get the word out.
Right.
So if he wanted, so you were, just so we're more than clear, that was an intentional move by Prince to get the word out. So he called Jules, hey, let people know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then knowing that it would get to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it would go up on the Stanford website with that long
We're demystifying
URL.
the whole thing.
No, it's quite interesting though, because if you there were kind of throughout the various eras and kind of sub eras of the Paisley Park scene, there were people that were connected that really enabled kind of this this something that's happening to get out there. And then depending on like the wind, right? Because like sometimes stuff would pop off at like 10, 11 o'clock at night for that evening, right?
Yeah.
And if the wind was that late, then the crew would be relatively small. If it got out early, then it would be bigger.
Well, yeah, you knew that if it got out a day beforehand, there's a decent chance that there's people flying in from Europe or Asia for that show. But if it was the night of, obviously not so
I mean,
much.
we might not be sitting here right now if it weren't for that website.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the interconnectedness of it all is so would you just look around and be like, "Hey, fools, you're welcome."
Well, no. I mean, it was a gift to do it, right? And it was a gift to meet so many people. I met so many people that way.
Right.
People from all over the world that I just knew through email or whatever. They're flying in from the Netherlands. Say, hey, can you pick us up from the airport? And we're
would you?
Yeah,
of course you would.
So,
So, do you know what happened to those reviews that you wrote? Do they still exist out there in the ether somewhere?
Somebody else was asking me for them. I don't know, about a year back or so, and I was looking for them. I couldn't find them. They might be gone now. I can look again, but I don't know.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be like somewhere at Stanford. Like
they for sure would be on a Stanford computer.
How do we find them? Can we get that?
Yeah.
No, really. Like I feel like part of the mission of this podcast is to get these stories out, and I think if people want to dig deep at some point, like how do we? This is Jonathan Carter, and like this is what he wrote. And this is this is part of this history.
It wouldn't only be the set list; it'd be the whole experience. What kind of happened? How did it open up? And what was the vibe and so forth. There's a whole lot of color.
You can make like a little coffee table book, and the title of the book is that web address.
Yeah,
and then inside it's just all your reviews in the set list
from Stanford to Paisley Park. No, because I think that stuff kind of matters, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I hope I'm able to find it. I don't know. It might be gone now, but I'll try and find it again.
Yeah, keep looking for it, and if anybody out there in the Prince Cyber universe
you gotta know an old professor at Stanford or something. Stanford.
And wasn't there like a listserv that was going out on too? What was that listserv called?
I don't know.
But there was like another avenue that stuff was getting propagated.
Eventually Prince.org also got synced up with me, and so they were publishing my stuff out there. So.
I remember reading your stuff on Prince.org.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So maybe it's on Prince.org. Did you look on Prince.org? We're totally in a digression here, people.
I did a while ago, and there's some stuff, but I don't know that the reviews are out there.
Okay.
Well, if we find it, we're gonna
blow it up.
Don't worry, we'll tweet the link.
We'll tweet the link. We'll put it up on our Facebook page. If you're looking for us on Facebook, search on Paisley Nights and like us. Yeah. We're on all your podcasting applications. Yeah. I always take a moment to self-promote, Jonathan. We got to just kind of
absolutely
get those things in. So, man, it's just so fascinating. So you are at Stanford, and then things kind of dry up in 96, right?
Yeah. But so then I eventually come back to Minneapolis. I graduate, come back to Minneapolis, and then, it's more sporadic in between, here and there, 96, 97, and then, the next real key milestone I remember was Emancipation.
Yep.
Because that's 96, right? So you're back from school in the fall. When did you graduate?
I actually
in spring of 96, or did you?
Technically, I graduated in December 95, but I think I marched in that summer of 96.
So when do you come back home then?
December 95.
Okay, so then like you come back home, and then things kind of dry up. Were you at the wedding celebration?
The whole where they were releasing Kama Sutra and all that, or not? Friend,
mother, sister, lover, wife.
Yeah. That whole thing. Yeah.
Did you go down to the church during the day? I
No.
can't remember if I saw you or not. I did because I was a freak.
Was it Park Avenue Methodist?
Yeah, Park Avenue Methodist. Yeah,
no.
I was down there, man. I was down there. I was talking to Mark Rosen,
Yeah.
local anchor and
Sports guy.
yeah, sports guy. And then they had Aaron Leapins was like rolling with the thing, and they had this big white. It's like a tent, but it was like a hallway tent, right?
Okay.
You know, and like so right out the front doors of Park Avenue, it was like this big tent, and then he rolled right through that tent, right into the limo. So the only glimpse I got of the guy, so I was there, right? I was skipping class. Now, Mom, I'm just kidding. I was not skipping class, but I was skipping class, and like he comes through the back in like a delivery van, and you see like the glimpse of Prince and his like cane like jumping from the van into the building from the backside, and then like 45 minutes later they're rolling out the front, and then they release the doves. The white doves get released, and Aaron's flipping around the car, and they're off. And then they're like, hey, party at Paisley tonight, which I was like, hey, this is a wedding. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember going to this?
Oh yeah.
And then it's got like and Maite ended up selling the
monogram or
not the monogram,
sorry,
but the
plate.
Yeah, there was plates and cups that she had, right? But they had on napkins like the Prince / Maite deal. And I mean, I'll tell you what, I saw like a napkin getting sold on eBay too, and I had a stack that was like just a foot deep of those things.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you something, that was the worst Paisley night or Paisley party ever, man.
Why you say that?
Because it was like $50 and like we didn't get nothing for $50, you know.
Yeah.
I think Prince was like, hey, I got to go to Hawaii. I got to subsidize this thing.
Yeah. Well, but so back up a bit. So I remember all those days in '95, right? Sometimes it was free.
A lot of free parties.
Sometimes it was $7.
Yep.
Sometimes it may be $10. But,
a lot of $20 nights.
But regardless, there's no way Prince is breaking even on what he's taking at the door in terms of all the bills he had to pay.
Yeah, so
and
I mean,
he was giving so much to the people there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, those were some relatively inexpensive shows. If you went on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, those are the nights that were like seriously $7.
Yeah, yeah.
Get to see Prince,
a concert, right? For $7.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the typical set was what, hour and a half?
Yeah,
relatively short, but
yeah. But still, shoot,
yeah,
you can't
Prince.
even get into bunkers for $7 anymore. So.
True that. So, and then things, I mean, I think the wedding happens at February 14th, 96. Then it really dries up until the emancipation deal. So were you there that night where like the first time maybe not the first time, where things had moved from the soundstage into the Love for One Another room? Were you at that show? It was kind of like pressed up against the wall, and he comes out like just ready to roll.
I believe so. The thing, it kind of blends together with me, what happened in between Emancipation and when he had Lenny Kravitz out there and that whole was that rave or whatever?
Yeah. So that, like the 96 to that was 1999. So 96 to that would have been December of 99. It blends together a little bit for you.
Yeah, because I remember it was some good times there, and by that time knew a lot of the folks out there, knew a lot of the security there.
Yep.
And so it was a good time.
And were you hitting all those shows?
Most of them. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes it's like, man, Prince, I'm tired.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? You get a 911 page. Well, no, even before you get there, 11 o'clock, you get the 911 page. I was like, I was about to go to sleep, man.
Right.
But then, all right, well, here we go.
And you're relatively young at that point. You can make it happen, right?
Yeah, but make it happen, and out there until the birds are chirping in the morning.
Were you still doing your Stanford website then, or no?
Yeah. I at some point in time, I transitioned back and forth between the email list and the website. But
keeping things rolling.
Yeah.
What was it? So from that era, and I know it blends together in your mind. Like, what are some of your favorite shows from that kind of 96 to?
Do you have one that sticks out?
Well, just even like the whole 95 and the whole when he got into in between Exodus and I want to say started getting into some of the gold stuff.
Yep.
Those were fun times. There's a lot of funny stories in the stories there.
So tell us one.
Well, so who was it that actually came to Paisley Park and they had high heels on, and in the high heels it was filled with water, and I believe in the water there was like fish swimming in there, right? So there's this one girl, I'm sure Dion knows. There's this girl that came out in high heels and water.
Is this a fan?
Yeah, a fan.
All right.
They came out. And then midnight, all of a sudden, one of the heels broke, and there's a puddle of water on the floor.
And a fish flopping around on the floor.
Right. So things like that. The whole sweet potato pie and Dion bringing the sweet potato pie to the MPG and things like that. And they love them sweet potato pies. Just fun. So I remember one time, Maite comes over to my side of the stage, and she motions for me to come up on stage and dance. And then I was thinking, well, she must not be talking about me. You know, right? So I just, I stay cool. I stay down there. She goes off. She dances on the other side of the stage, and then she comes back, and she gives me a look like, what are you still doing down there? So then, I hopped up on the stage and I started dancing. So, and actually, I just saw Maite, a year ago, and I reminded her of that story. She's like, yeah, I think I remember that.
Where'd you see her?
She was when they had the Prince of Minneapolis at the University of Minnesota, that whole Minnesota, symposium.
Yep.
She was there with, all of the
crew.
Yeah,
you got a chance to talk to her. Did she remember you?
Yeah, she remembered for sure my face and things like that. So,
and you're I mean, for people that don't know Jonathan,
how tall are you?
How tall are you?
6'5".
6'5". So he's a tall guy. He stands out. He's not tiny, and I mean, you always kind of had a little walkway behind you because no one would stand behind you. You could.
I mean, eventually I let smaller people in front of me, but I'd only do that to a point.
Right.
Especially in the early days.
Because were you front row? Was that was that your spot? Like I remember
in the early days I was front rowish. By the time we got to like 98 and so forth, I was a cool kid in the back area watching all the Virgin Paisley people crowding the stage, and I could tell there wasn't even going to be a show because the things weren't even hooked up yet. But they couldn't tell because they were Virgin.
They didn't know.
That was always when you walked into Paisley, like you didn't know if it was going to be a dance party, if it was going to be a show, but people who were veterans knew to like go up to the stage and like take a peek. Like, is the guitar on stage? Yeah. Are the amps even plugged in?
Are the regulars hanging out?
Are the roadies there?
Are the security people really in place, or are they just roaming? There's definitely cues, and I mean, if you picked up on them, you could tell whether there's a show or not.
Yeah. Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes you could tell he just changed his mind.
Yeah,
it's like, well, everybody would go into a movie theater. He treated us all to popcorn in a movie.
Did you do that?
Oh yeah, a couple times.
When were the movies? I never did. I think
you never did the movies.
I think we did Minority Report, but I never actually went to the movie that night. And then, did you go to Minority Report?
I have no idea what movies I saw, but I remember distinctly there were at least 2 or 3 times where they're like, okay, well, everybody go up to Chanhassen Theater. We're going to treat you to the movies. And I remember the last time it was the drummer on Third Acre. Hannah. She's like, okay, well, there's not a show tonight, but we're treating everybody to the movies.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I was mad that night.
Yeah.
Well, I remember one night, too, I was DJing out there, and it was just like, hey, stop the music. We're going to go to the movies. And I was like, what?
I'm guessing. There was one night during the celebration that they took everybody to Minority Report. With Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I drove down there, and it was just like a sea of people, all just cars and what have you. I was like, I'm going home.
I mean, but, and so to a certain extent, we probably got a little bit jaded because we were out there so often. We saw it and things like that. But, looking back on it and especially telling the story, how many people can say, well, yeah, Prince treated me to a movie?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's kind of the way he rolled, right?
Yeah.
Just like, I'm just going to be off the wall.
Yeah.
It's quintessential Prince. Yeah. Now, I mean, why do you think Prince was doing these parties? Did he just, what's your take on kind of like why he's opening the doors of Paisley Park to just like some dude from Bloomington?
Yeah. For sure. Sometimes he just wanted to see how things would land on folks, certain music, new music, or performances and things like that. He'd want to see, what the reception was like and things like that. So he definitely wanted to see that. Actually, whether he was playing or whether it was just, the DJ playing the music, he wanted to
Dudley D.
feel, yeah. Dudley D out there, and and Linka and Jules and all the folks. But he definitely wanted to see that, and and we definitely find out, post his death, how much he was for sure a community guy, how much he was a giver, how much he gave to the community and so forth. But I mean, I really got jazzed. You guys were talking about this before, that whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where he was inducted, but he didn't go. Yeah. Right? He just partied with us. He had a concert, and I was like, well, he considers us special, right? He's not, living it up with the bigwigs and so forth.
Do you think he considered us special?
Oh yeah.
Why do you think that?
Well, you can tell, because as much as he joked with us, and as much as he, as many as those free, and I remember the free and $7 shows as much as I do the $20 ones, and and certainly there was, I think it was like $200 some for the celebration or something like that. Versus, well, I don't know how deep we want to get. Now it's $1,000.
Yeah.
$1,000 for the celebration.
Yeah.
And he ain't showing up. Right? So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
he ain't gonna play.
Yeah, he ain't playing. So, but for people that didn't get out there, maybe that's kind of their vibe.
Yeah, I mean, people got to do what they got to do. Yeah. So, do you think? I mean, back to like us being special, or him thinking of us as special. Yeah. Like you really you believe that, like, he had like a connection to this group of people that went out there again and again and again.
Absolutely, I know it. I could feel it.
Right. How did you feel it? Like, explain to me the hows of how.
What does he think when he's on stage? He's like, okay, there's Jonathan. All right, there's that white dude.
Yeah.
All right, there's that girl. Like, cool, we're all here. Let's go. They're all here.
they're all here. Well, and he sometimes play regardless of how big or small the crowd was. But right. I mean, he definitely would. He'd not all the time, but he'd be joking around. He'd be having fun. Sometimes he'd be, out on the dance floor and so forth. And I just kind of in the vibe. And like I said, he could have been anywhere. He could have been in L.A. He could have been in, Japan. He could have been wherever. He could have been in Detroit.
Yeah.
Right? But he chose to be in Minneapolis the majority of the time. And so, yeah.
So you use the phrase "in the vibe." What was the vibe? Can you explain the vibe? Can you give us a sense of what the vibe was?
It was really about just being free, really just kind of, in the music, whether he was playing or not, that you were getting your groove on, that you're, right. Into the beat, you're jamming, and then you were, interacting with one another. Most of the time in the sound stage, it was dark, so you could hardly tell what people look like, or how old, how young.
Yep.
There are kids in there that were, young, and obviously there were mature people in there as well, and everybody was, on the same level, just dancing, having a good time. Sometimes there'd be the stars that were in there.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, they'd be on the risers and stuff. But sometimes they'd be amongst the audience and so forth.
And there was different vibes, too. Like, there was obviously shows where you could tell, like, he was working on his set list that you would see over and over. And then there was other nights where it was just kind of like, in between songs, he would just start something, or he'd, ask the drummer to start something. And those were, like, the special nights, I think, where it's just, you didn't know what was going to happen. And all of a sudden, this song that maybe he was just going to play turns into a 20-minute instrumental jam where they just go freestyle, go off.
Make it happen. Do you have any recollection of, like, your favorite, like, kind of either set or song where you're just like, man, that just holds like this special memory of like me being out there, like where Prince is doing something and it just like you have this like, just like it's at like the top of your list for moments at Paisley Park?
Well, so I remember, obviously backing up again a bit, I was in the Sign of the Times video. During Sign of the Times, Starfish and Coffee is on the Sign of the Times album.
Yeah.
Right? But Starfish and Coffee was not in the movie, and he didn't play in the concert or whatever. And I never heard him play it, ever. Right? And so I actually, and this was back in the 90s, and so I was, at that time we had, news groups or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I posted, I was like, yeah, I wish he would play Starfish and Coffee. And I want to say literally it was like a week or two later, for the first time,
Yeah.
I heard him out at Paisley with that, the ringing,
Yep.
and Starfish and Coffee. So that's memorable for me.
So do you? So I mean, that might have just been a coincidence, right?
No. We all know Prince was on Prince.org. I've been in his office and seen it on his computer screen.
You were in his office and saw him on Prince.org?
I didn't see him, but I saw his computer screen lit up on Prince.org.
Really?
He had to, because he hadn't played it even during Sign of the Times, and not for years until I had posted it on this news group. I want to hear Starfish and Coffee.
Do you think he's looking at that and he's like, oh, Jonathan Carter wants to hear this. If Jonathan Carter wants to hear this, I'm gonna play it.
Or my teacher's son.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, does he know that connection?
Well, so he almost had to, because I know that Kirk Johnson also went to Minneapolis Central, and
was he the same kind of age as Prince then, or roughly? Okay,
roughly. And so Kirk was one of my parents' students as well, and so Kirk knew me as because evidently I look like my dad.
Okay.
And so we were talking about it, and he saw my brother, and he right away knew my brother and stuff like that. So I'm guessing Prince had to have known.
Okay, so there's this connection. So like what were your interactions like with Prince? I mean, is he interacting with you kind of personally? I know Maite's bringing you up on the stage the one time.
Yeah.
Did you meet him? Did you talk with him?
Yeah, no. So the one time where I came close to kind of talking to him was during one of the celebrations where I remember it was Kevin Smith, the one director, producer, or whatever, actor, was out there, and he was interviewing the audience out there, and then eventually Prince came in, and he was talking and so forth, and then eventually he was talking to me and my girlfriend at the time, and giving us some advice, actually.
Who was giving you advice?
Prince.
So Prince is talking to you. Who's your girlfriend at the time?
Well, you know my girlfriend at the time.
It's a loaded question because she's on the list.
So anyway, I remember that time. That's the closest that Prince is talking to me directly. So
what was his advice?
He was talking, it was actually biblical almost. He was talking about being equally yoked.
And this is all during the Rainbow Children era.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, during that.
The Jehovah, like the Jehovah Witness time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and ironically, we had just broken up at that time, but Prince didn't know that. But
so let me just ask you this. Prince knew you were together?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How did Prince know?
Well, he's observant, right? So
yeah, I mean, do you think he's watching the crowd like that to like?
Oh yeah, he has to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he's just paying attention to like the subculture that he has created. He's just in tune with it.
And he's right in there too. Like as much as he probably wants to just be able to go and converse with everyone, he knows he can't.
Why do you think he knows he can't?
I mean, as much as he's, one of the reasons he's observant is for his own safety, right? Because some people he knows, okay, yeah, I know him or her, they're cool,
right?
But that person's crazy. I'm not going.
Yeah. I mean, right? I know who you're talking about there.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna name names, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's. probably too why he had these parties too. You know, I mean, you have this huge building and you want to have people over. Like I want to have people come to my house and hang out. You know, I'm bored. Come over and barbecue.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it interesting, like how he builds this group of people. Do you feel like he understood that he was like creating this kind of community within that group? Do you think he knew the relationship networks that were starting to emerge because of what he was doing from the parties and the concerts, etc.?
I'm guessing that he understood that better than we did at the time.
You think so?
Because at the time we're just kind of, we're going through and we're meeting people. It's not until, afterwards looking back on it, we're talking and so forth and connecting and things like that. It's like, yeah, that's great time. And oh yeah, that was the culture that we were building and so, but it's not that when you're in it, you're not really realizing that.
You're not aware of the culture that's getting created.
Yeah. But I mean, he probably realized that's what he wanted to do.
He wanted to create. So you think he was intentionally creating a culture and a community as part of this Paisley Park scene?
I believe so. I believe that's what, I mean, if you listen to Paisley Park, the song, that's what it's about.
I mean, right? this is where I was going, because I've said that before. Like before, I mean, it's way more than a song, I guess, is ultimately what my position is, right? Like we are Paisley Park. So whatever's going on at the building, God bless the estate and the tours and Elvis, and whatever they're doing today,
$1,000 VIP.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm hopeful that, I mean, they're archiving the music and they're bringing people into kind of like the Prince scene, and like I applaud any effort that kind of does that. So God bless them. But ultimately, I mean, I think we are Paisley Park, right? Like the people that come out of this and the community that emerges and the relationships, like that's Paisley Park.
I'm gonna back up on something you said there. I was reading an article about Universal Music, right? And they had a fire out in L.A.
Yeah, I heard this.
For the movies that were destroyed. And that was the publicity. What they didn't say at the time, and until recently we didn't find out, is that a lot of original masters music were destroyed in that fire.
And they're getting sued by some big names.
So get this now, connecting it back to you. So I believe it was Universal that wanted to take some of the masters out of Paisley Park and ship them out to California, right? And I might be wrong, but I think it was Universal that, and just imagine if
all those were gone,
all those masters were gone.
Yeah, I read something else too that talked about where they did move the masters and stuff. They built like a whole specific spot for it, so nothing
a new
goes
vault.
In and out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a vault, but yeah, it's definitely more modern and up to date than what Paisley Park was, because did that vault have sprinklers in it? Sprinkler heads? I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like,
if you just think about the risk, that existed.
Yeah.
Ugh. Freaks me out a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to lose that music, right? And do you think he wanted that music to get out? Like all that stuff that's in the vault and all the...
I think he ultimately knew that it would get out. At some point in time, he knew that it would get out. And I mean, we could get real deep into, what he could have done in order to help kind of protect his estate and all that kind of things. But
I don't know if we'll dig on that today.
Yeah.
we'll hit that topic later on in these podcasts, because I feel like that could fire some folks up.
Yeah. But I mean, I believe that he ultimately, whether he wanted to or not, he knew that it would get out at some point in time.
Because he knew his stature, right?
Yeah.
Like his stature within the music business, who he was, what his music meant. He had a sense of like his own importance to the musical scene of this era.
Yeah. Well, and so
maybe he didn't know what to do with it. Maybe he didn't know how to write the future plan for his stuff.
You think so? Like just let it play out.
Yeah, gonna what I could be thinking and what I think should happen could be wrong. or could not be the right path. I don't know what the future is going to be like exactly. So
just let it roll.
And
and especially if you're in the now. I mean, maybe his concern wasn't about that, but what am I doing right now to
I need to keep creating stuff. I don't need to worry about all this stuff that I created 20 years ago and what's going to happen with it in 40 years. I'm here right now. I need to concentrate and focus on creating more. I don't know.
Yeah. So how do you think Prince influences you? Like, how has your life trajectory shifted or changed because of your experiences with Prince and your experiences at Paisley Park and being part of this community?
So I think it wasn't until I actually got out to Paisley Park where, and a lot of people remark about this, where it's somewhat freeing. It's a liberating kind of experience. And, I got my groove on out there. There wasn't a whole lot of other places before that I was getting my groove on, at least in public. Right. And it was really freeing. It was a way to kind of connect with folks that I never would have met, never would have come into contact with you guys.
Right.
Never would have come into contact with a lot of folks that a culture. And, and so really, and I remember, so I know this isn't your question, but I remember when Prince passed, I was actually on the treadmill in Lifetime Fitness, and they were showing the scene at Paisley Park, and they weren't talking about what had happened or that kind of stuff. But eventually it got out that he had passed, and there were so many people that paged me and called me and things like that. And I was like, I never really knew that so many people knew that I love Prince that way. But it was just as if a family member had passed. It was that serious to me. But
so when he passed, I mean, how does it hit you? Like what? Like it felt like a brother.
Did you stop running?
Well, at that time, they hadn't announced what it was or whatever, and so it wasn't until I got off the treadmill that word had come out. And ironically, I think TMZ was the first one to release it, probably because they're on cop scanners or something. But
yeah, and they just early, they're just early.
Yeah, but
what Lifetime were you at?
The Crosstown, Eden Prairie.
Okay. Yeah, because I was at the when I found out, I got texted by Jenny. And I was in a meeting. I was selling Lifetime some stuff because I like to sell stuff, or I do sell stuff. Maybe "like" is a strong word, but I was at Lifetime as well when I found out, and essentially I got a text saying somebody died at Paisley Park while I'm talking to the client, Lifetime, and I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Like I got that text and it was like I knew he was gone. Were you there the Saturday before?
No, but I was. So the last time I saw Prince was the Piano and Microphone concert. So whatever, that was the January, I believe.
Yep.
At Paisley Park, and I went to both of the shows. And I remember, so obviously he was on the piano, and I just remember I never have heard a piano sound so good. Scotty, the tech at that time, had him.
Shout out to Scotty.
Yeah, had him perfectly, mic'd up. And matter of fact, I told him, last year, I mean, I've never heard a piano sound that great. And it was a great show. And matter of fact, if you had said, what's my dream? I'd be like, well, just to hear Prince play piano, me sitting there and listen to him. Now, I didn't imagine that I'd be there with a few hundred more folks, but it'd be great just to see Prince on piano.
Before you saw that show.
Yeah, that was, yeah. And so that was the last time I saw it. And in that moment when that song, it was great. It was, listening to all that songs. I also felt, though, that this was a gift, and that this is going to end sometime. I didn't know that he was going to pass.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is going to be over sometime soon. I remember thinking that.
When you say you I mean, you didn't know obviously that April was coming, but the sense to you was like that this was like a season was about to end after you saw the show. Did you
during seeing the show? I was like, this is really special. I feel really privileged to be here and so forth. But I don't know how many more times I'm going to get to do this. I don't know how. It's weird, but
you had a sense of it while you were in the space.
Yeah.
Do you think he had a sense of it?
I don't know. There's lots of conspiracy theories around that and so forth, but I think that he intended to keep working.
Yeah, that's what he did, right?
Yeah,
that's what he did.
Yeah.
What contrast the piano and a microphone show with all of the 99 other shows?
Well,
Jonathan saw a couple hundred shows. There's no way that dude didn't see a couple hundred shows.
He was flying back from Stanford.
Dude, he saw all those things. And he was on the 911 list before we were on the 911 list. We had to weasel our way in there. No, so contrast, because that show was fundamentally different, right?
Yeah. Well, so he had Paisley Park decked out. I want to say there was carpeting down, if I remember right.
Yep, they put carpeting down just for that show.
Yeah, and
I think a lot of it had to do with the sound too.
Yeah. And it sounded really clear. He was just on the microphone, and the songs that some obviously traditionally most of the time he'd play with guitar or whatever, you'd hear him on the piano, and it sounded wonderful. I remember seeing the set list or whatever, and one of the songs that they missed was The Beautiful Ones, and that sounded. Were you guys at the show?
Yeah, I was at both of them.
Okay, I thought The Beautiful Ones sounded awesome on the piano.
Yeah, I was actually asked to come in to DJ beforehand, and so I knew it was going to be piano and a microphone, so I spent like a few hours like getting like certain songs like to kind of fit the vibe that I thought was going to happen. And then I got out there and I was like, "Hey Scotty, what's up?" He's like, what's up? Like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Oh, they brought me out here to DJ." He's like, "Oh, Prince just gave me this CD to play while people are walking in." So then I was like, "All right, cool, well, I'll just be here."
Yeah.
Free show.
Yeah.
So what was on the CD?
It was just like instrumental. I mean, I don't know if you remember walking in, but it was just like, I don't know, just like kind of like a Kama Sutra or something, it was just like instrumental sounds, no like drums or anything.
Why do you think they called you?
I don't know. I guess he didn't know exactly what he was going to do. Maybe that was a last minute decision.
Yeah.
To
hit press play.
So get this. I'm going to put one person on blast, although I don't even remember their name. But so this is about the piano and the microphone show. So I had tickets to both shows, right?
Yeah.
And for the second show, I had a VIP ticket, and I had a regular ticket. Both shows sold out. I want to say in minutes, right?
Right.
They're sold out. So I had an extra ticket. I could have sold it for hundreds of dollars. I could have scalped her or whatever.
Right.
But you're not that guy.
I'm not that guy. I was like, you know what? I just want to get it to a fan that could actually use it. At cost, I'll sell it to cost. So I blasted out on Facebook, say, hey, somebody want to go? I'll give it to you at cost. And so I connected with somebody, and I sold it to him at cost. The part that upset me was after the show, after I sold this ticket to this guy at cost, he comes back to me. He's like, Jonathan, so hey, I bootlegged the show. I'll sell it to you for $100. I'm like, wait a minute. I just gave you an at cost ticket. You gonna bootleg the show and sell it back? I was like, come on, man.
Did you buy it?
No.
And he didn't change his mind and give it to you?
No, he didn't. I was like, come on, man.
Paisley Nights Podcast. We are not naming names tonight. We are not naming names tonight. Interesting. Now because so over the years, because like things kind of, I mean, there was the celebrations, 2002, maybe 2003.
Did you go to both of those, right?
I believe so.
Musicology, and then
musicology. I went to that.
And then then things kind of quiet down, right?
Yeah.
Did you do the 777 shows?
Yeah, there's a story. No, I didn't. So we had our family reunion around that time. Matter of fact, they're about to go to our family reunion now, but we had our family reunion around that time, and this year it happened to be in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And so we were down in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and then I get the notice that they're having the shows, but I'm out of town, and I'm seriously considering flying back.
Bailing.
But I never go.
Because you could have been like, Mom, Dad, I do this all the time.
I mean, did you ever lose that edge of just like, hey, Prince is playing and like, I got to go?
I'm sure I did, especially when I was out at Stanford and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, but you did. I mean, when you were at Stanford, you were flying back. I'm saying like when you get like later in life, like 2013, 2014, 2015, like if something's popping, were you there?
A lot of times. I wasn't as fervent as the 90s and early 2000s and so forth, but
I mean, life changes a bit, right?
Yeah, you have obligations and so forth, so I wasn't out there as much, but I was out there for piano and a microphone, and that was the last one.
Some of the Third Eye Girl shows.
Yeah, a lot of the Third Eye Girl shows.
What'd you think about that band?
I thought they were I thought they were good.
Right.
It's one thing to talk about the band, and it's another thing to compare them to the other bands.
Right. Yeah.
They weren't my favorite band, but I appreciated
them. Are
them.
you were you not into, because they're more like a rock and roll, like, do you kind of feel like you like the other stuff with like the drum loops and whatnot, or?
I can vibe with whatever. I definitely do like some of the funky stuff, and I can vibe with the rock and stuff like that, through all the levels. But I don't know that. And don't get me wrong, I still follow. Was it Hannah? On Twitter and stuff like that, and what all is going on, but it didn't seem like they were as versatile as some of the other bands.
What was your favorite band?
I already know.
Yeah. You already know. It's got to be the MPG, and then you have to figure out which incarnation of the MPG. But
which incarnation of the MPG?
It would have to be the Exodus kind of stuff. And
Michael, Sonny, Morris, Tommy,
Maite.
Yeah.
And they mixed a few other people in there now and then, which is cool. Even.
What is it about that band that you liked? What was it that you?
They would just kill it.
It's almost because Prince is. I knew that Prince is really competitive, and he likes basketball, and I just can relate it to, like, when I went out and played basketball, like when I was in high school and so forth. I had the mindset that we are going to kill this team. We're going to rip them to shreds. We're going to destroy them.
Right.
And I could tell Prince and his band had that same mindset on the stage, as if they were playing a game.
We're the baddest band in the land. Like, who
we know it. And we know it.
And they knew it.
Knew it.
Yeah, they knew it. There's nothing like it, right? So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Were you at the Sharon Sales Belton show?
I believe so.
$100.
I believe so. It all blends together.
We Want the Funk.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, he comes on for the encore, and like everyone's chanting, "We want the funk."
Do you guys remember when Dallas Austin came out there?
Yeah, I do remember that. And he calls him up on the stage.
Remind me. I don't remember.
Dude, I remember this.
So
Dustin
first
never
of all,
remembers.
Dallas Austin, for people that don't know, music producer, and produced. I know, like, TLC, and I think was Chili's baby's daddy.
Yeah, and Prince references TLC when he calls Dallas Austin onto the stage. He's like, if y'all don't know.
Yeah. So he gets up on stage, right? And Prince puts him on the keyboards or something. and he's like, I don't know if Prince told him to play or if we, the audience, told him to play. And so he just starts tinkering around, and we're like, play! And he keeps tinkering. And I think it was Tia's like, you better play that! he didn't hardly do anything. Right? It's like, man, get off the stage. Right? So,
y'all just calling Dallas Austin out.
I'm calling that. Man, and the shoe. Dallas was a punk. But, now don't come hunt me down. But he was. He knew that night. Do you remember?
I remember that night.
Yeah.
I remember that night.
Yes.
It was a brief stint on the stage.
Yes.
What other celebrities did you see out there?
I remember distinctly seeing all of No Doubt, including Gwen, and all of them were really short.
I remember Gwen Stefani walking right past me. I was like, oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Jonathan, he just said they're all short. Like, who isn't short compared to you?
I mean, seriously, I'm guessing, they're like 5'3"-ish,
right.
And that Prince's height kind of ish. So, but, obviously there was Lenny out there and George Clinton and, Time out there all the time. And, I don't know.
Were you at the?
But you knew people were rolling through.
Yeah.
Were you at the recording of The War?
I remember him playing The War. I don't remember if it was.
I think he only played it once.
Yeah,
okay.
I only remember him playing it once, so you had to have been there.
Yeah, and it
feel like
lasted
you were
forever, right?
Yeah, you were there.
It was like 45. It was like 45 minutes.
And I was thinking, I was thinking at the time, what is this? Because I mean, it was just going on forever.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Sometimes things kind of grow on me, and most of the Prince's music eventually grows on me, and that was kind of one of them. There's a couple of tracks that still haven't grown on me yet. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm critical of a few tracks myself.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite song?
I like Adore. That comes to mind. I remember I was in France. I was on a trip for college, and I had brought the CD with me, Sign of the Times, and I was playing it, and it was nighttime, and so it was in a chateau, and so all of us were about to go to bed. I was playing Prince and Adore, and I was singing all the high notes and everything. Eventually, somebody came in and was like, yeah, can you keep it down, please? But so I love Adore.
We got to hold on. We got an affinity for the Paris fans too, by the way. Shout out to Gigi. Represent. Go ahead.
Yeah. I could name a lot of stuff, and they'll be like really off tracks, like Elephants and Flowers.
Oh, that song is bomb.
Now. Yeah. Right. Do. Sorry. Yeah.
The list keeps going. I get it. How about an album? Do you have your go-to album? Like if you're like, all right, I need to.
Well, favorite album for sure, Sign of the Times.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you think the connection to Sign of the Times is? Is like, hey, I was in the movie and I saw this thing. I stood out there. They gave me $75. Like I've been paid to like this, or
that doesn't hurt. But I mean, I really appreciate the different tracks that are on there and kind of how they all come together.
Which is why you told him he needed to play Starfish and Coffee, and he listened to you.
Yeah. He didn't play it until
Jonathan, see, you have not because you asked not, right? At some point, you just got to speak up.
Yeah.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah. There you go. No. There's a lot of tracks, eclectic stuff.
Yeah.
What's life like post Prince's death?
Well, so now, I have my daughters, and they'll listen to Prince on the radio or on my CD or whatever, and they'll hear stuff and they're like, that's Prince, and then, I'll play a track and they'll listen and it'll be Michael Jackson. They'll be, that's Prince. I was like, no, that's Michael. And then there'll be Janet Jackson on the radio. That's that's Prince. No, that's Janet.
But she's got the Minneapolis sound connection though. So I include Janet in the Minneapolis sound kind of family, right? With Jimmy and Terry, like she's connected to us.
Yeah. So now it's with my daughters. I play the Prince stuff quite a bit. I have a car where it's burned into my car's hard drive, and so I can pull up tracks all the time and stuff. So, yeah.
Does a day go by where you don't listen to Prince? Like, do you think about him every day?
I think probably about him most days. I wouldn't say every day. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in life, right? Yeah. But yeah, certainly if I'm flipping through music and so forth, it's stuff that I still listen to, as well as other things, and he obviously had huge influence on other artists as well. And so I'll listen to people that he influenced and people that are totally separate, so.
How do you feel about, like, Mark and I both have kids, so we all have kids, like, and your father brought you to Prince, about not being able to share that live experience of Prince with your kids? Do you think about that at all?
Yeah, well, and actually, so we did do the tour.
You did? Okay.
With my daughters and my wife, and we went out to Paisley, and so they got to see some of the stuff.
Right.
But the ironic thing is we had the tour guide, he'd say some stuff, and I'd say just as much stuff as well, no, this is this and this.
That's where I stood.
Yeah. And so, they still... They listen to Michael and Prince. Do you guys talking about? So you remember when Michael Jackson passed?
Yeah,
I do.
And for the longest time, it'd be like Prince and Michael are rivals and stuff. There was that whole bad thing where Michael asked Prince.
That Chris Rock interview.
Yeah.
He's like, "Who's gonna sing that first line?" Because
you know what I mean.
Yeah. And so you knew there was some tension, some friction, and so forth. But once Michael Jackson passed, Prince played Michael's songs, and you could tell there was respect and a tribute and so forth. And so so there's definitely a certain amount of respect that he had for him, even though there's a lot of joking in between them.
Yeah, but I think I heard a story, and someone's going to need to confirm this at some point, but I heard a story that Michael Jackson would get videos. This is back in the day, pre-YouTube, get videos of Sly Stone and literally would ship them to 7801 Audubon Road, return address Neverland, and Prince would get these videos.
Yeah, I heard that story too. I don't know
where I heard it, but it was out there in the ether. And they would get these videos, and then it'd be all right, we're gonna stop rehearsing for a minute, and they would all go and into this room, and they'd watch these old clips of Sly Family Stone, Graham Central Station. They would just all come together and check it out. And the videos themselves, Michael would be the one shipping them to Prince.
Yeah.
So can I go back to the tour?
Yeah.
What did you think of the tour? I mean, obviously it doesn't smell the same. The vibe's not there.
Oh, the Paisley Park tour?
Yeah.
Yeah. For people that haven't been able to experience Paisley Park, I encourage them to go.
Yeah.
It's something to see. It's not necessarily for people that were part of Paisley Park party crew.
Right, yeah.
Right, so I remember when I
PC.
first...
Yeah, the Paisley Park party crew. I forgot about that name. That was like a moniker that we wore for a while.
Yeah. I remember when first time I went out there after you had passed, I just went out there and I read the fence or whatever. And then, after I was walking away, it hit me bad, that, he was no longer there and stuff. And so I was bawling and stuff, but yeah. So, but yeah, the tour, if you haven't been there, it's worth seeing.
Right.
They do a good job. I certainly wish they would reduce the price of the VIP for the celebration. $1,000 is a little ridiculous, even though I know they sell it out.
Yeah.
So how many times have you done the tour?
Just once.
Just once.
Yeah.
And you ain't going back.
not for a tour. I mean, not unless somebody's in from out of town, I might go with them to
check it out or whatever.
Yeah, so
then you could be their personal tour guide. Yeah. Hey, there's a whole business. Hey, Jonathan Carter, hit him up. Like the tour guides out. I don't know about the tour guides out there. I haven't been on the tour. I have been out there a couple times, but yeah, I don't know what they're telling you, what kind of information. I mean, they obviously aren't digging that deep.
They do the best they can.
Seeing The Office was pretty cool because they left The Office the same way they had it.
Yeah,
that was cool.
So did you got to be able to make
and you had never been in that space before. Sorry, Dustin.
That's what that's what I was going to say.
I don't remember being in that. Obviously I'd been in the atrium, but not in the office space.
Did you do any parties in the atrium back in the day?
Yeah.
Of course.
I remember the
Tell us about a party in atrium.
I just remember it being really nice in there and really funky and so forth. I don't remember like any of the songs, any of the music. I just remember the way it made me feel, which was this was the place to be. We're special. This is
the vibe.
Yeah.
This is the vibe I've been looking for.
Yeah.
So give us one last story. What's one last thing you can share with us about your days at Paisley Park and Prince and I mean wherever you want to go with it, Jonathan?
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. One last story.
Do you have a favorite show out there besides Piano and the Microphone or anything like the Piano and the Microphone that stuck with you? Were you there the night that he came out without Slave on his cheek? Yeah. I just remember us looking at each other and being like,
"Oh, it's on."
Yeah, well, because he did that during Gold, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
And so, I was there for that, and
they all just blend together. That's
when I want to say it was when Lenny was out there or whatever, but anyway, they had kind of a VIP area and then they had the regular folks area. And for a while, obviously we knew all the security and stuff like that. And so me and Dion were just roaming about. And
so wherever you want.
And so we went into the VIP area, we were munching on stuff and eating, security's like, hey. And so then eventually we come back out to the general folks and then security gets to know, oh, well, that's supposed to be for VIP. And so I think Tia tries to go in there. Like, no, this is closed. So that whole thing, and I forget which show that was, but I remember getting into the VIP.
You were not supposed to be there, but you were. I mean, you were VIP. I mean, Prince was taking your advice. Yeah. You're writing the reviews. You're getting out the word to the people. Yeah. I mean, I think the whole Paisley Park scene would have been very, very different without Jonathan Carter in it.
Definitely.
I mean, like your imprint and your impact on this group of people, I think, is big.
Yeah, and just so many connections. Not obviously not all of them that I still connect with or whatever, but at the time it was great to make those connections and
you're like
folks.
You're like the president of the Paisley Park Party Crew.
Yeah, forever.
You know what we need to do is we need to find your reviews.
Yeah,
and then we come back for another recording, and we'll read them, and then they'll bring back memories there. Like,
we need to do that
because they were written to evoke memories as if you were actually there.
That would be fabulous.
I was writing for people that couldn't make it.
Yeah. Sorry, it would be fantastic.
It would be fantastic. So you're coming back. We're going to find them. We're going to get them out there. Well, we really appreciate you coming on.
Sure.
Like the stories. Appreciate you sharing just what you got, man. Anything else, Dudley D?
I don't know. Not unless Jonathan's got anything else he wants to share. I mean, what a wild ride.
What a wild ride.
So cool.
Well, we appreciate the time. For all the folks out there listening, definitely check us out on Facebook, search Paisley Nights, all of your podcasting applications. Like us, share us, give us some reviews. We're on Twitter. Dudley D, what's our Twitter?
Paisley_Nights.
Yeah, Twitter us up, retweet us, do that thing. We appreciate all of y'all following us, all of you listening to us. We're gonna keep doing this.
Thank you to Jonathan.
Yeah, big thank you to Jonathan. We
said at the beginning, like I don't know what it was, like a year or so ago, or even more than that. We talked about starting this was like
this is the
short list of like 5 people you were You're definitely one of them.
Yeah, so we reaching the peak now.
It's over.
It's all downhill from here.
here.
You can stop. Just kidding. No, listen to the next podcast.
It ain't over.
It ain't over. It ain't over. We are going to keep doing our thing, keep telling these stories. We're going to get them out there. We really appreciate y'all listening. This is Paisley Nights. We are chronicling the days of wild. I am Mark Bondi here with my co-host,
DJ Dudley D.
And we out. Peace and
be wild.